until AI is fully involved. We're still interacting with listings on daily basis.
Yeah.
I help agents like yourself do the marketing and stuff like that,
Yeah.
photographs, etc., etc. Do you think the market has switched onto this mode where everything's so stagnated now? It's more marketing-centric market, not sales. You know how it used to be during COVID? You would drop a picture from the phone,
Yeah.
and there's 50 offers already on the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
The time has changed a little bit. Market stagnated. There's more listings now, right?
Yep.
Starting to accumulate.
Certain price points, yeah, for sure.
What's the time on the market nowadays? Average time on the market?
So, I mean, it's going to be based on the quartile you're in. Because what I use, when I do market updates, I also use Altos research reports. And these are at the county level, but you really have to look quartiles. So they're quartiles. There's 4 of them. That's what they're called, quartiles. And they have a median price for each of them. And the top of the market in Orange County, which is going to be a much higher number than the top of the market, for example, in Riverside. But the top of the market, you're getting close to 200 days on market in Orange County. And some stuff, I mean, quite frankly, is never going to sell. And I think that's where I want to go with this conversation next, where we're talking about marketing. But yeah, to your point, when we didn't have time to market a property because they were going so fast, people got lazy. Now we do need to make sure the property looks its best. Well, actually, let me back up. We've always needed to make sure the property looks its best, and accurate copy, accurate data around the property, pictures, drones, videos. That was always our imperative was to do that. Now, when homes are flying off the shelves, some agents got lazy. That didn't change the fact that needed to happen. It just didn't happen. And the reason that's our imperative, because at the end of the day, our job is a fiduciary responsibility to the seller to help them get the most money for the property. And in order to do that, you have to have the property look its best.
Right.
So just because the market shifts, that doesn't shift really what we should be doing, to be honest. And like we talked about before, all I have to do is call 3D Media, and I'll get one of your top dudes out there, or dudettes. It'll be amazing photos. It'll be amazing drone work, amazing video. It's absolutely beautiful what you guys do. That's like bare minimum. Like every agent should be doing that for every listing, is hiring 3D Media to do it. The bar is on the floor. Like we all should be doing that. And we're still not. I see agents using their darn iPhone, got their finger in one of the pictures, or they drive by, you can see they've taken a picture from their car. Like, what is this that agents are doing? That actually infuriates me when I see that for many reasons. Number one, they're not taking good care of that client. Number two, I would have taken much better care of that client, and that's not my listing. And number three, I know an agent who can't care enough to do that. They're not going to pick up the phone, tell me accurate details about the property, give me an idea, hey, what's going on with the activity, maybe not even make it easy for me to schedule an appointment. If they can't, the bar's on the floor with making the property look perfect. Like, if they can't do that, that's a huge problem in our industry. So now, of course, marketing matters because it's always mattered. But there's an important thing I need to push back on with marketing, and it goes back to the fiduciary duty. I'm going to keep bringing this up. Way too many agents look at a listing as a house as a piece of content, not as selling a property for their client because this is what their client needs to do or wants to do. So they don't care. It's more important to an agent to get their sign in the front yard at any price so that they can get more content, they can get more buyer leads, they can get more seller leads, because they don't care what price they listed this house at. It's going to turn into additional business. That's where I have a problem, where a home becomes a piece of content and not what we were hired to do, which is to actually sell it. And you know what it may mean? Which sounds crazy. You may have to tell a seller, no, I can't sell your house at that number. And anybody who says they can is not telling you the truth.
Right.
And you don't put your sign, and you don't get 3D media to come out, and you don't get to do a video. And I'm getting a little angry. I apologize. I get emotional about this because this is the thing that drives me crazy about my business. Look, nobody wakes up like when I was a kid, I wanted to be an archaeologist because of Indiana Jones, wanted to be an astronaut, all the typical stuff. Nobody wakes up and says, boy, someday I'm going to be a real estate agent, except my 13-year-old daughter. She does. But when I got into this business almost 20 years ago, got my broker's license, passed the broker's test, which, by the way, not just the agent's test, like broker's test. Like I'm a full-blown broker, could go open up my own brokerage. I passed it almost 20 years ago, and I couldn't fill out a purchase agreement. Like I couldn't actually sell a house to save my life. But that's a whole other story. But that's been my biggest frustration with our business, the barrier to entry, and then seeing what other agents do. Like, what is the saying about a pig in the mud? Like, don't play with a pig in the mud because you'll get muddy and the pig will like it. Like, unfortunately, I feel like that's that's our reputation, is we're the pig in the mud. So anyway, that's my thought. So at bare minimum, everybody should be hiring 3D media for any price point they're selling. Mobile home in Puente Hills to $50 million mansion, and do what you can to show that property in its best light, and do what you can to sell that property, not solely to be trying to get additional business out of it. So.
Yeah, and the time on the market statistically goes down. The more content that you produce that is relevant to the house,
yes,
the time on the market goes down. Now it becomes a necessity.
Yes.
Before maybe it wasn't a necessity. The house would sell regardless. Time of the market was not an issue.
Yeah.
But to your point, the fiduciary duty to the client was always relevant.
Yeah.
Maybe it was going to sell immediately, but at what price?
Yeah.
One extra offer from somebody that fell in love with a video.
Well said.
It's $10,000.
Well said.
Maybe commission-wise, not a lot for the agent, but
No,
$10,000 is $10,000 for the seller.
Yeah, and that's well said. And my strategy, and it was honed during that time, I've always been a fan of having, as a listing agent, having multiple offers because it provides the most leverage for my client from a price standpoint and a negotiation standpoint if they want to come back and renegotiate. So that's always been what I've encouraged my sellers to do. Let's price on the lower end of market value. Let's get the word out to everybody. Don't take an off-market offer, which we're going to talk about that in a second. But you want to get as much competition as possible. And part of getting as much competition as possible is the media behind it. It's the pictures, drone, video, et cetera, having it look as good as it can. So I honed this during the busy times and came up with a system. So even if I got 25 offers, which I had 25 offers on a fourplex, which, by the way, fourplex listing, still professional interior, exterior photos, still drone work, still video, do all that, even on tenant occupied stuff. I have a whole system for that, which I've honed. But with the multiple offer system, honed that so that we, at the end of the day, we're not rushing this. If you ever see me send you a postcard, Dimitri, that says I sold a property in 3 days, it's AI and it's not me. Stop bragging about selling a property before everybody saw the damn property. It needs to be on market. You need to give a counter offer to everybody. Well, I don't want to give a counter offer to that person who lowballed us. That lowballer, I have seen come up and win the property at the end of the day because you gave a counter offer to everybody. And when you have multiple offers, the seller can ask for the sun, the moon, and the stars, and maybe they get the sun and the moon. But if you have one offer, you lose all that negotiation. So anyway, long story short, multiple offers is where you need to be. And to get there, you got to have the media behind it.
So actually, a very important question then. You said don't brag about homes being sold in 3 days.
No, please.
What's a good amount of time spent on the market that you know it's a maximum amount of exposure to get the maximum return?
Excellent question. Now, for a luxury property, it's going to be longer because it's a higher price point and there's fewer buyers out there. But let's say we'll put a number on it, 2 million or less in Orange County. And I had $9.5 million 22 unit in Costa Mesa where it went through the same process. Like, you can kind of figure out a number just about for any property where you're going to get that multiple offer situation. But we'll put that aside. So we'll say 2 million or less in Orange County. You've got to have it hit the market. Let's say Thursday. Usually Thursday is when I list one. I'm going to bring one on Thursday. In fact, it needs to go through the weekend. The idea of taking an offer on a Friday or Saturday night before you've had one or two open houses is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. You got to get through the weekend. Oh, and let's talk about open houses. Are open houses to meet all the sellers in the neighborhood and the buyers in the neighborhood? No, they are to sell the property that you have listed. And the reason we do an open house is we can get a bunch of people through the door at the same time. They see each other and they see there's competition. They write a more competitive offer. And we can control when they see it. So we can make sure that the toilet, somebody didn't leave a dump in the toilet, which I've had happen before at listings. Like, you got more control over it. And then if it's an occupied property, those sellers can go ahead and make sure they have all their jewelry and medication out of the house at a set time, go somewhere for 4 hours, go see a few movies, and come back. And we're driving all the traffic through at the same time. So we've got to get through minimum that first weekend of open houses. Then we get a lockbox on there because some of the people who saw over the weekend are going to want to come back for a second look before they write. So we're probably, if we're going to see how the open house traffic was. If there was a lot of traffic, we start to get offers. We're going to set an offer deadline of Wednesday or Thursday the following week. So at Thursday, that would be 7 days on market.
7 days, yeah.
Okay.
And then once the deadline completes, then you have to evaluate all offers.
And then we give everybody the multiple counter.
How long does that process take?
We're at Thursday by now. So you know what? My seller decided they want to have one more weekend of open houses.
Okay.
So by then we get through that weekend.
But the new offers are closed at that point.
No, they're not. What I tell agents, and I tell people that want to submit after, I tell them these are the terms on the seller multiple counter offer. You still have time to submit. These are the terms. Match it or beat it. And it may be for highest and best. It may be for a specific number, but it's going to have a bunch of other stuff like no home warranty, making sure we have escrow title, other odds and ends, like a standard list of counter terms for sellers who are in a multiple offer position. So to answer your question, there's no short answers for any question. You're minimum of 10 to 12 days on market before you've accepted an offer. And by then, you have absolutely squeezed that orange for every bit of juice that you can possibly get out of that orange.
And at what point it's too long when you're losing momentum?
So 14 and beyond, because that can happen too, where I've had some sellers who, let's just say greed sets in and they say, well, we got these 10 offers. Who's to say there's somebody else out there that isn't going to offer more?
Right.
But this all goes back to the system. We got this in front of as many qualified agents and buyers as possible. And that's another key. Agents are my friend. I don't want to double end a property, which I know sounds nuts. Hey, California, you can do dual agency. Most agents want to bring the buyer. The seller hired me. I want to make sure every agent out there knows about this. In some respects, if I double end a property, which I do rarely, I haven't done my job. I haven't gotten it out there enough is one way to look at it. So I'm going to work with all the agents to leverage it. But back to your original question, if I show up to the seller and I say, hey, here's all 10 offers, we've given the multiple counter, this is where we are. And some will say, well, can we squeeze them for more? And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess we could. But they've already said that this is the highest they're going to go and blah, 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 blah. Or let's wait and see if someone else will offer. Now, I did have a seller who I worked with who I actually went through this process twice. We brought it to market. I got him 5 offers the first time. We did the multiple counter offer and he didn't take it. Then I got a price reduction from him. I got him 4 offers that time. We countered. He didn't take it. I, at that point in time, said thank you, but no thank you. And I bowed out of the deal. And he subsequently went on to another agent and then a third agent. And that third agent sold it for less than both of my offers would have been back then. And it was at a flat time in the market, not. So, I mean, he lost money because of this stupid move. So,